Hi, my pre-Kers. We're going to take a look at a new trip that we're going to be taking. We have been traveling all the way down to the South Pole to Antarctica with our traveling suitcase. While we're still going to talk about Antarctica, we're also going to talk about another part of the world from our traveling suitcase that is very, very cold also. We see on our world map pages here that we went down to the bottom of the earth, to Antarctica, the coldest, harshest place on earth. Cold and windy, everything frozen. The land is frozen in ice. Well, we are now going to go to another pole. There's not just the South Pole in our world, but there's the North Pole in our world. Okay, and up north, there's the North Pole in a place called the Arctic. The Arctic. Now, at the bottom, the South Pole is Antarctica. The North Pole is the Arctic. There are some differences. Antarctica is the coldest. It's colder. So when you go to the Arctic, it's still cold. They get lots of snow in the Arctic, though, unlike Antarctica that just has ice and not very much precipitation. Remember, Antarctica is also known as a desert because it's so dry. But up in the Arctic, they do get precipitation. They do get more snow. So we're going to talk about the differences in Antarctica and the Arctic. And one of the things that I have here is a polar wildlife book. So this can be for things that are in Antarctica and the Arctic. Let's see what it says in here. Find our first page that we're going to look at. The Arctic. It says that the Arctic is made up of the Arctic Ocean and the land around it. This land is called the tundra. The tundra. So what is the land around the Arctic Ocean? The tundra. No trees grow on the tundra because it is so cold and windy, but smaller plants can grow there in the summer. Now remember, in Antarctica, things didn't really grow on the land, but in the summer in the Arctic, things can grow. Many animals can live in the Arctic. Oh, remember, not very many animals can live down in the South Pole in Antarctica. But in the Arctic, many animals can live there. Snowy owls and Arctic foxes. Oh, we're going to learn a lot about the Arctic foxes. They're my favorite Arctic animal. And then we also have polar bears. Oh, I love learning about the polar bears. They live in the Arctic. And we have seals that live up there and whales, and many birds will spend their summers up in the Arctic. So there's a lot of animals that we get to learn about for the Arctic. We learned mostly about the penguins in Antarctica, but now there's a lot more that live up in the Arctic. And there's also people that live in the Arctic. Remember, in Antarctica, not very many people live there. And it was mostly scientists that would go down to Antarctica and they would stay for just months at a time to learn about Antarctica and study and do science experiments. But in the Arctic, people actually live there all year long and make their homes there. It says that there are people called the Inuits. The Inuits live in North America and in the Arctic areas. In the past, they would move around in small family groups living in ice houses. Have you ever heard of an ice house? An igloo. Yes, I might have a picture of an igloo. We'll see. They would survive by fishing and hunting. And today, many of the Inuits stay in one place instead of moving around. Today, they no longer live only in ice houses or igloos. They live in houses just like we have, and they go to work like we go to work. But sometimes they will still build igloos. They'll still build igloos when they go on hunting or fishing trips. They'll make an igloo out of ice and snow, and they'll make a house. And those houses that they make will actually be warm inside, even though it's made out of ice and snow. They know how to live up in the Arctic. Now let's take a quick look at some of the animals that live up in the Arctic. Who lives in the Arctic? Let's see. Who lives in the Arctic? Do you see all that snow? Okay. Seals live in the Arctic. There they are. A seal and the pup, her pup right there in the water. Whales live in the Arctic too. Moose live in the Arctic. Do you see the moose? They have such big horns. Look at that. The moose live up in the Arctic. Reindeer, that's a real reindeer. Reindeers do too. They live up in the Arctic. Oh, grizzly bears live up in the Arctic. There they are, brown grizzly bears. We're going to learn the difference of the bears, brown bears and black bears, and the white bears. What are the white bears? Polar bears live in the Arctic. There's a polar bear mommy and her cub. Foxes live in the Arctic. I love to learn about the Arctic foxes. And hares live in the Arctic too. This is an Arctic hare. It's like a rabbit. A hare is a really big rabbit. We're going to learn about the ears of the Arctic hare and the feet of the Arctic hare. Well, musk oxen live in the Arctic. These big woolly creatures, they have long fur that keeps them warm. They live up in the Arctic. And wolves live up in the Arctic. The Arctic wolf, a beautiful animal. We can learn more about them this week too. And of course, we found out that people live in the Arctic too. They live there all year long. They make their homes in the Arctic. So a lot more creatures and people live in the Arctic than they live in Antarctica. And then there's something really special about the seasons in the Arctic, because in the Arctic, you do have a winter and a summer that looks different. In Antarctica, it looks a lot like the same kind of weather all year round. But in the Arctic, you can see the difference. Wintertime and summertime. Let's see some of the other differences in Arctic winter and Arctic summer. Can you tell what season this is? Is it Arctic winter or Arctic summer? It's winter. Next up, we have winter. Lots of the snow and ice is just frozen in big pieces. Then we come over to summer and it starts to melt, and you can see the water. You can see that it's melting, and you can see more of the water. Let's see these two pages. Winter in the Arctic, summer in the Arctic. Look at all the beautiful plants that are growing in the Arctic. Beautiful summer in the Arctic. And look at this. I love this part of the Arctic. The Arctic animals change colors when they live in the Arctic. This is the Arctic hare, and in the wintertime, the Arctic hare will make its fur all white. So it blends in with the snow so that the predators cannot find it. It will blend right into the snow, and the predators can walk on by and not even see them. God made these animals so that they could change with the seasons. So the fur is white in the winter, and then here comes summertime, and look what God lets the Arctic hare do in the summer. She changes her fur to brown in the summer. So she mixes in with the forest. She mixes in with the trees and the leaves and the ground. She can blend in and hide in the forest in the summertime. Okay, is there another animal that does this? The winter Arctic tern right here. So this bird is all white in the winter. She blends in with the snow so she can hide. And then in the summer, she changes colors. And she changes colors to look more like the rocks and the stones and the cliffs in the Arctic. She can blend in. Who else does this? Oh, this is my favorite Arctic animal, the Arctic fox. She's beautiful in the wintertime. She has her white fur on. She's blending in with the snow. She has this big, beautiful, white, fluffy tail. We're going to find out what she uses that tail for later in our stories and our videos this week. And then in the summertime, the Arctic fox will change his colors to darker browns and grays to blend in with the forest floor, and the forest branches and twigs. So he blends right in so that nobody can find him. The predators can't find him. And now our last page says, can you guess what season it is now in the Arctic? It looks like summer to me. So the Arctic definitely has different seasons that you can see, much more than Antarctica, and lots of animals that we're going to be discovering and learning about this week. So stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.